Mario and Donkey Kong have one of the most complicated relationships in all of video games, and it looks like it won't be resolved anytime soon. With over 40 years of rivalry between them, it's no wonder it's always Mario versus Donkey Kong and never Mario and Donkey Kong. I think it's time we figured out once and for all which one of them is responsible for a rivalry that's taken place across the past 4 decades, and which one of these two iconic Nintendo characters is the bad guy. To get a better understanding of their relationship, we need to go all the way back to where it all started, 1981. When Nintendo of America, who was just starting off at the time and wasn't very well known in the US, needed something big to really draw in some attention to their brand. A young Miyamoto knew exactly what kind of game he wanted to design, but didn't know what kind of characters would resonate with the American audience. At first, he wanted to design the game based off of the popular cartoon Popeye, with Popeye being the protagonist, Bluto being the antagonist, and Olive being the damsel in distress. But Nintendo was unable to get the licenses to use those characters, and that's when the magic happened. Donkey Kong and the character Jumpman, who was later known as Mario, were born, making their first ever appearances in the game Donkey Kong. The story is rather short and straightforward, but it goes like this. Donkey Kong was Mario's pet and had escaped, presumably because Mario wasn't a very good gorilla owner. Can gorillas even be tamed? Do they make good pets? Donkey Kong escapes and kidnaps Mario's girlfriend at the time, Pauline. Mario chases after Donkey Kong, saves his girlfriend, drops Donkey Kong on his head like any good pet owner does, and that's it, the end. Until 1982 when we get Donkey Kong 2, but it wasn't called Donkey Kong 2, it was called Donkey Kong Jr. because Mario, after defeating Donkey Kong in the first game, decides to recapture Donkey Kong, throw him in a cage, and take him away. You now play as his son, Junior, having to save your father from the clutches of this menace. Look at this guy. He has a pet gorilla in a cage, separated from his son, and he's holding a whip? You can probably see where this rivalry starts. And that's where it all ends, until a decade later in 1994 is the next time you see both Mario and Donkey Kong face each other in their following game. And you're gonna love the name of it. At the time, it was peak innovation for gaming titles. It was called Donkey Kong, just like the first one, but this time for the Game Boy. It had the exact same levels and the exact same story as the arcade version, except this time, after you beat the 4 levels from the arcade version, you got 97 more levels, catching everyone by surprise. How did they fit 97 more levels into this thing? I bought this game to play the 4 levels from the arcade that I could never beat as a child, and Donkey Kong told me no. In 1999, Smash Bros. Came out for the Nintendo 64. Now, I know what you're thinking. Now we're getting to the good stuff. They can't run away from each other here. It's Mario versus Donkey Kong for real. They're face to face. They've gotta fight. Except Donkey Kong and Mario started off as arch rivals, but they've patched things up in recent years. 2004, we get Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but for the Game Boy Advance. Wait, what just happened? I thought they patched things up. But this time, Pauline is out of the picture, because now Mario owns a toy store and sells little mini menaces. And Donkey Kong wants one, but they're sold out. So he gets mad and steals all the new toys from Mario's factory, risking it all to get his hands on the new toy. And at the end, Mario feels bad for the guy and gives him a free toy. See, that's good. Their relationship is starting to mend together. It started off a little rocky, I know, but now 2006 we get Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, but now it's not called Donkey Kong Jr. and it's for the DS, and Pauline's in it. Donkey Kong gets jealous because she chooses Mario's toy over his, so he kidnaps her, but at the end, Pauline chooses Donkey Kong's toy too, so he would feel better. 2009, we get Mario vs. Donkey Kong 3, but it's not called Mario vs. Donkey Kong 3, it's called Minnie's March Again. Donkey Kong gets mad and kidnaps Pauline again, but this time he was just kidding. 2010, Donkey Kong gets mad and kidnaps Pauline because they wouldn't give him a Pauline toy. Then at the end, they give him a Pauline toy. And we might as well just stop there, because after Miniland Mayhem, the craziest thing happened. They stopped making the story. 2013, 2015, 2016, no story. Does Donkey Kong get mad again? Does he kidnap Pauline? Probably. But we'll never know. And based off these games, we kind of get a feel for how Donkey Kong and Mario's relationship has developed over the years. It starts off as a young Jumpman and his pet gorilla. Things didn't work out, so the gorilla wanted revenge. Then his son wanted revenge. Then Mario wanted revenge again. You big monkey! All the way to them setting aside their differences in a way. Donkey Kong only getting upset because the toys were always sold out. I mean, if every time I went to the store, everything was sold out, I would probably be mad too. All in all, I think their relationship in gaming is one of the more complicated relationships, not because of how they interact with each other, but because of a lack of context. If you were telling someone your story, but only told them about how you brush your teeth in the morning every single day, eventually they're gonna think that all you do is brush your teeth. This is the exact same thing that happens with Donkey Kong and Mario. All we're ever told in the games is how Donkey Kong got upset about something and kidnapped Pauline. But does that make him the bad guy? What do you think? And before you go, hit that like button. See ya!